And we are live. What's going on, everybody? It is Jeremy, and I'm joined by my good friend, YoungRippa59, Eric July. What's going on, man?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. It's been a minute since we did one of these, man. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you having me back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And literally, we have talked about the details of what we're going to talk about. You hopped in the StreamYard call and I said, I don't really know what to talk about other than there's a bunch of crazy shit. So let's just wing it. And that's exactly what Rippa wants to do. I mean, again, there's so much crazy shit to talk about. And right now, though, first and foremost, since the last time you and I talked, you have recently joined Blaze TV, correct? So
Yes, that is correct.
Congratulations on that.
Appreciate
Congratulations.
that.
So tell everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I joined Blaze TV, Blaze Media group, kind of in this kind of quasi kind of contributor role. Basically, what it means, is that I appear on a bunch of shows throughout the week. And yeah, just give my perspective there. That was a long time coming. I had been doing like Blaze stuff probably for 5 years. Before then, even back when Dana Loesch was on Blaze and so forth, and even when Tommy Lauren was doing was on Blaze, that was like a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do a lot of like just appear and so forth. So I had time to vet them, you know what I mean, to make sure this is something that I wanted to, be a part of. And it was just a wonderful opportunity because I get obviously to get my message out there to a group that otherwise may never hear it. But that's what I appreciate about Blaze is that it's a platform that was had they never once in the 5 years that I appeared there as a non-contributor, never once did they like try to give me a rundown and be like, hey man, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. Never once did they do that. It was always just here are the topics, let's say whatever you want to say, even if it pisses off some of our audience. And to me, out of a platform, that's one thing that I appreciated, because you don't, as a guy that's done interviews and stuff like that, I've actually had to decline a lot of interviews over the course of my political commentating career because of that, because I don't want to be limited, and I don't want to be appearing in places that feel as if I can't say something because it may offend their particular audience.
Yep.
So Blaze just was like, they love what I do. I'm local. And they were like, hey man, just the audience loves you, even though you bring a perspective that is more libertarian. They may not hear it. They love you. So, we rock something out, got something official going. So that was what it was about.
Hell yeah, man. Well, congrats on that. That's a big move. It's a big move, and they got a great one. So I'm happy to see it. So just still making moves. Now, you just sent me a link last night. Was it yesterday? It's a new song, right? So go ahead. Feel free to.
We did. We dropped.
Feel free, man, to tell everybody about it.
My band Backwards, for those that don't know, people every day find out that I'm actually, one of my gigs is being a musician. I'm a front man of a metalcore band. We have some like hip hop elements as well, but it's mainly like that metalcore base. It's called Backwards, BACKWORDZ. We had a very successful, obviously, first album. And in the transition going into the next album, because it's not quite ready, we wanted to just drop something that was like really relevant. It was a B-side basically it didn't make the album. It didn't make the first album. So we were like, all right, man, we haven't gave them some material because that album came out in 2017. So we haven't given them some material in a while, since really that cover that we did a couple of years ago. And we were like, you know what, let's go ahead and just drop this because it's a pro-gun song. And now we have, because of all this craziness that's going on, you have so many new like gun owners, right? New first-time gun owners, because they're realizing like you are your own first responder, man. And you got to protect yourself and your property and your your family, and people are realizing this. And we figure like, man, this song is a really big time pro gun song. Why don't we put it out? And we put it out. We touched it up. I did a little like, because that song was very old. We just never released it. So I did some touch ups on it, and yeah, we wouldn't put it out. So it's out. It's now live on most major digital platforms. I don't think Apple has it yet. They're always lagging, but it is on Spotify. It is on Google, Amazon, all of that. Also, obviously, you can go to our YouTube at Backwards Music, BACKWORDZ Music, And you can see that along with the rest of our videos. We're the one metalcore band that isn't a bunch of raging leftists. So if you want some of that, you can go check it out.
Right on, man. Matt G, I see your super chat just says waffles. That's right. I hardly ever live stream. I'm going to start live streaming more. I know I've killed the algorithm for our live stream. So, but it's nice to get back on here and do some live streaming, and I would rather do this with Rippa than anybody right now, considering what's going on. So now craziness is going on. We live in a fucking clown world. You know, and I'm apparently not allowed to have an opinion because I'm white, unless I'm a white liberal, which is the most dangerous group of people in our culture, in my opinion. And I think you agree with me on that, you know, because you and I don't necessarily like. When I say we don't agree politically, basically what I'm trying to distinguish is I'm a Trump supporter. You don't give a fuck about any politicians, because you don't trust any of them. And that's perfectly fine. And I totally understand that standpoint. But I just want to make that discrepancy to say, like, we don't necessarily agree politically per se. I'm sure on a lot of the overarching things we do. We've never really discussed it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter unless that's directly what you want to find out. But my interest in becoming friends with Rippa had nothing to do with, like, does he agree with my politics? And I don't give a fuck. If that was the case, Uche wouldn't be here, because Uche and me and Uche don't agree on any damn thing. But with everything going on, what is your take on this whole thing? Because first, establish your stance on, you know, because you're not a police guy, you know, you're not a guy who supports the police per se. Give some context to that so people can understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And
so
how you feel about everything.
Right. So I'm a libertarian, right? I'm on the extreme end of the libertarian and being an anarcho-capitalist, right? So, and for those that don't know what that means, you think libertarianism, you think private property rights, you think non-aggression. What anarcho-capitalists believe in, like, we don't make that sort of exception for, like, the state. So we want as many exchanges and interactions as possible to be voluntary, and we understand that the state is a very bad thing. Now, in that regards, I would still prefer more minarchist, which is a more smaller government, to whatever it is the hell that we got right now. But in the ultimate end game, that's what it is. So yeah, I'm not a cop guy. I've been doing videos on this page so long, talking about, even trying to pull, and I have been successful, pulling conservatives over to the side of, like, you know, understanding what this institution is actually about. But yeah, so this whole ordeal popped off with you know, George Floyd being murdered, and it's funny how it worked out, because you'd think that it was almost unanimous, right, among pretty much every single political group. They felt that was wrongful, right? The death was wrong. So you thought that would have been at minimum a uniting moment, but of course, people came in, they hijacked it, they had their own narrative that they wanted to perpetuate. And it's kind of crazy that people immediately moved to the race thing, when it's like, we don't, as of now, we have zero proof that was racially influenced. All we know is that George Floyd was a black man. Right. So everybody, of course, you know, took off and ran with it. And what I've been trying to make people understand is, like, when you have this institution, whether it be with the state, and basically the police are the teeth of the state, and obviously they get to do things that other individuals simply don't do. And I always have tried to zero in on that, because what is, you know, you think of racism in literal terms, it's like, dude, it's like, so what? Someone doesn't like me because I'm black. Like, what the hell is that? Why do I care? It only becomes an issue if it manifests itself into acts of aggression, right? And they actually do whoop up on me, or they kill me, or kill people and stuff like that. That's a problem, right? But the fact that everybody just zeroed in on that, and then we play white versus black, or even blue versus black, and so forth, it's unfortunate, because there was a very good opportunity for people to come in from all different sides. I mean, dude, we were on the Blaze, which I'm surrounded by, you know, a lot of conservatives. And even like Chad Prather and those guys was like, man, we're concealed carriers. It's like, I probably would have pulled my gun on that cop for the one that was on his neck, right? He was like, that's what a conservative was saying, you know. And it's like, so if any, and they, you know, people tend to think conservatism, they think cop worship and stuff like that. But that's what a conservative, you would have thought this event would have been something that unified people on what the actual issue and
it did though, at least for the moment, until the opportunists started to get involved. And yeah, you make a great point about that. And the other thing you were talking about too was how racism, like I keep hearing this term of let's end racism. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't end how people feel.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. You can end having racism be maybe powerful people in positions if they make decisions off that. If there are cops out there that are targeting people, can absolutely end that. But to end racism is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You're never going to end racism. It's like that fucking video with the penguins. I don't know if you've seen that one with the penguins and Barack Obama and Trump and about ending racism and protecting Michelle Obama from the N-word and all of that. I'll send you a link. It's so fucking good. It's because it's like this whole thing about like Trump is there to say the N-word, and before he says the N-word, the penguins take him out, and then they go up to Michelle Obama and they're like, "Mrs. Obama, we have ended racism." She's like, "Thank you. I can now walk this land safely." But then Barack Obama pops up and it's badly edited intentionally. And Barack Obama drops the N-bomb and then everything explodes. And then they're kind of confused as to why Barack Obama dropped the N-bomb. But what really was it was Trump in disguise as Obama. It's fucking fantastic. It's so good. It's on YouTube. It's been taken down 100 times. But the point is just like this whole thing about congratulations, we ended racism. It's like you're never gonna.
It's an invisible and it's an invisible enemy when you think about it. It's like people have conjured up something that isn't nearly as bad as what they pretend that it is. Like, and I'm willing to say that I'm a guy that I'm from the South, man. I'm a black person. So where you think it exists, I lived it. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that there aren't racist people.
Because there are.
Yeah, absolutely there are. But to act like, white leftists, by the way. But to act like walking around the corner like there's this Klansman, right? Like every corner just ready to just attack black people in every neighborhood. It's complete nonsense. And look no further than what we have now. Like this movement became so corporate. Like every single, I can't even turn on the video game without some sort of virtue signal. You know what I mean? And everybody's on this bandwagon.
Like Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone. Like I refuse to play it. I'm like, look, it's one thing to use your social media platform as a company to say, it's another thing to make me press a button to agree with your politics.
That's crazy.
Like, I would not do that if they put MAGA 2020 and had I was like, bro, that is such bullshit. You should never use your platform to force people to co-sign. Like Black Lives Matter is a political standpoint. Absolutely. It absolutely is. It doesn't mean what it means or what they claim.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So what do you think on this whole Black Lives Matter thing? What is your stance on the movement?
It's funny. I got real fired up on Blaze TV, and I did a video just today that I uploaded, which is starting to take off because I did a video. The starting point, if you look at videos I did like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I would really zero in on this sort of idea of people going around that claim to be like uber pro-black, be going around like begging to be accepted by white people that acknowledge it and validate it. That's what I feel Black Lives Matter is. It's whether it be the move. Well, if you look at the actual organization, like that's completely something else. Like they're against like the heteronormative patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. Like they against all sort of bogus. And I think 2 of the founders are like lesbian too. And they all hate men. It's like weird, man. Like if you look at the organization, but if you look at the movement, it is a movement that is obviously very corporate, is very political now, and it's centered around people feeling as if black folks are getting the short end of the stick in every facet of society. Doesn't matter if it's by way of police. This is why it's zero. It's not zero. It's more so crept into other things, right? Not just police officers. We're talking about different entities saying, well, we're gonna do what we can to lift the black voices. And of course they don't mean me, by the way, when they say that, but they're gonna do all of these weird things to try to be more inclusive and stuff like that. Bullshit. And I did a video today because this is something I really have a problem with. I think there's a black leadership, definitely a black male leadership issue in a lot of these communities and a lot of these organizations and movements because it's real beta, right? And I watched this video on and I uploaded it earlier today, and I was looking at this CBS video, and they had a bunch of like black actors and stuff like that talking about this whole deal, and they were like crying, right? Literally crying, because there were people that were their colleagues, right? White people that were their colleagues, that were like posting about other things, but weren't posting about Black Lives Matter. So it triggered them. And I'm sitting here like, what type of pussy shit, excuse my language, was that? You know, because I'm looking at that like, really? Like, this is what this movement has become. It's a bunch of begging to be acknowledged, validated, and accepted by people that they feel don't want to accept them. Yep. To me, that shit is for losers. And I will never do this. This is why you never catch me more. You won't find another guy on the internet that is as in opposition to cops and all this stuff. And I done dropped 18 song albums, toured the world, spoke internationally. I've done all of this stuff. You will not find another guy on the internet, but I never would side with these losers, because they're going around begging to be accepted and acknowledged and validated by people that they claim hate them. And you know, we can sit up here and debate whether or not they hate them or not, but even so, like, if we accepted the fact that they did, why in the hell would you want to be acknowledged or validated by these people? And these people are like, white folk must speak for them. And this is why I said this movement now, when it comes to quote unquote Black Lives Matter as a movement, is two large blocks, the largest blocks of people: self-loathing, self-hating, and I mean, in its weird way, kind of self-righteous. I know it sounds antithetical to self-loathing. White folk. I'm talking about white folk that feel as if they have this privilege that they don't have, this power that they don't have. I'm not scrawny white kids throwing bricks through whatever business. You gonna tell me they superior to me? You know what I mean? They superior to me? Nah, those are emotional brainlets. They're not superior to me in any way, shape, or form, but they feel as if they are. So you have that group of white cats, and then you got this other group of black cats who want the acceptance from these groups. Those are the largest blocks of people that are part of this movement. And considering that, I would never, ever, ever, ever ally myself with these weirdos, because I'm not one of those guys that thinks that I should be asking to be validated or acknowledged or accepted by people that I think hate me. I never do that. And that's, again, for losers. Losers do that, man. I'm a winner. I feel as if I'm a winner. And I want to. It's like Brother Malcolm X would talk about this all the time. It's like, we don't worry about trying to get the white folk to accept us and begging them to be begging for access to their kitchen. What we do is get the black man to accept himself. And then once he does that, we don't even have to worry about whether or not these external sources that despise us or something of that nature. He was saying that when there was, like, you know, way more racism than it was now. And he was saying that back then. And I said, and all of a sudden they say I hate myself. I'm like, I'm not the one going around begging to be accepted by white people. Y'all doing that. Exactly.
I mentioned this on Friday Night Tights. I'm a big Tupac fan. Love Tupac. His album Machiavelli. He had a song on there called White Man's World. Okay. And in white man's world, you know, people that are dumb that don't understand Tupac, like, they took that as he was talking bad about white people. He was talking about it's a white man's world because the black community allows it to be a white man's world. And he specifically says in there, it ain't them that's killing us, it's us that's killing us. It ain't them that's knocking us off, it's us that's knocking us off. Use your brain or be a victim in this white man's world. And he's talking about how, and you could just rename it to white liberals world, you know, and that's essentially what it is, because these white liberals that will, like, they act holier than thou. And social media has given them such a big platform now where they can really act holier than thou. And they're the ones, the mainstream media in Hollywood, are pushing it. And people have said, well, Jeremy, what about the right wing? You have a problem with? I have a problem with the far right wing too, but the far right wing doesn't impact the things that I am focused on. The far right wing has no impact on the entertainment industry or the mainstream media right now. The far right is just as bad as the far left, in my opinion. I don't like either one of them. I am straight down the middle when it comes to politics. I supported Obama for 6 years because I thought he was the right person, until I realized he wasn't the right fucking person. And I started to see everything fall apart. But I really was not a fan of George W. Bush. I fucking hated George W. Bush as a president. So I was the reason I support Obama was because I wanted to move so far away from the Bush, regime and anything that resembled that. But then I became a Trump supporter because I felt like Trump was the right guy. But I don't align with any political party per se, at least Democrat, Republican. I just don't.
Right.
I'm independent of my own thoughts, and if you actually asked me the topics and on the issues, I would probably lean a little left, maybe when it comes down to the issues. But I look at how the culture is, and the culture, if the left has the power based on how the culture is right now, holy fuck, that's a goddamn disaster right now. And that is how I look at how I, push my political support is how will the political, like if we would have gotten, 4 or 8 more years of the George Bush mentality, I wouldn't have liked that at all. Now, the Obama mentality didn't help us anywhere, and it gave us a new set of fucking problems, but that's just how I look at things, but to be a zombie to a political party or a political ideology is bullshit, and I'll never fucking do that, but yeah, I mean, now there is so much to talk about, everything else that's going on. How do you feel about the monuments and the statues being torn down?
Oh man, it's funny because a lot of some of the statues, like they're tearing down statues of abolitionists, you know what I mean? People that were like openly against slavery, and so forth. So they don't know, they just see white man statue bad, tear it down. And that is sort of embodying where and I love what you had mentioned about the culture. And this is I'm a big proponent of focusing on that and emphasizing that, because politics are the lagging indicator, right? The culture, and this is where a lot of even definitely conservatives and libertarians get this wrong, because they think they have the ideas on their side and they completely neglect culture. And this is how the leftists continue to win, because they recognize how important that is, the culture element, and they control it top to bottom. And this is why they're able to just say whatever it is that they want, even if it's wrong, but it's perpetuated as if it's truth. And when it comes to the statues and everything that's being torn down, that's sort of how they approach everything else. It's that if they feel as if it's a threat, they want to get it out of there. They don't want it to exist. They want to pretend like it doesn't exist. They want to push you out. They like to think that there aren't individuals, even within their own subcultures, that disagree with them on this element. And they feel as if they can attack that and take that, they can continue to win. And yeah, that's exactly what they do. But it sort of embodies everything else that they do in terms of their approach. So if they have to erase moments of history, if they have to revise it, and certainly if they have to revise it, they will absolutely do that when it comes to perpetuating their own personal narratives and so forth. It's never been about having honest dialogue. It's never been about, certainly not now, about having honest conversations and having us have a battle of wits. You know what I mean? A battle of ideas to get them out there. They'd rather just destroy. And when you look at how they approach everything else, it's the same approach. Even when it came to the response to this whole George Floyd, you have blue check marks and leftists and politicians basically green lighting the fact that people were looting businesses. You know what I mean? Because
unbelievable. Ice Cube's out there offering to pay for all this theft at Walmart, if nobody gets arrested,
it's like they green light bad behavior and they excuse bad behavior. And that's how they operate. And this is why I think culturally people got to be on the attack when it comes to this. This is partially why I dropped this, this song. It's like I said long ago, man, I don't see this de-escalating until people within communities and neighborhoods and property owners start to actually become, channel their inner rooftop Korean and actually effectively protect their businesses. You know what I'm saying? And it's because it will continue to do that because they see no consequence. And it's not just that. It's not just that they see no consequence. It's that leaders, quote unquote leaders, politicians, blue check marks, all excuse their bad behavior. They force these false dichotomies. I'm sure you probably dealt with it, and people on your team have dealt with it. When you say looting is bad, they say, well, why? But what about George Floyd being killed by? It's like, Motherfucker, I don't have to have one position or the other. I can simultaneously say that's wrong, but also looting is wrong. I don't have to take one position or the other. But that's how they sort of force these nonsensical false dichotomies on you, because they want to excuse that bad behavior, because that's what it is. It's objectively bad behavior. It's not right to steal from people, to destroy their businesses because you mad or you say that you mad or what have you. That's not how rational people act. Exactly. They don't do that. They don't like, oh, well, so-and-so did me wrong. The analogy I've used is like going and getting punched by some random guy, and your response after being punched by the random guy, you go blow up your neighbor's house. And he had he had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? He had nothing to do with you getting punched in the face by a random guy, but you went and blowed up your neighbor's house because reasons. But people continue to excuse his bad behavior, and that's why it continues to escalate. That's why it continues to continue, rather, because they are seeing zero consequence for their action. And this is why I challenged, I was a Blaze TV talking about this. I challenged Republicans. They always on the defense. I was like, I challenged them to get on the attack. And all right, let's get rid of some of these gun laws that get in the way of people being able to defend their property. And I'm not talking about gun laws when it just comes to ownership. Yeah, that's a problem too. I'm talking about, though, like in Minneapolis, where they have right to retreat or duty to retreat laws, when they basically say you can't shoot nobody unless you like running away. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Texas, we don't have that problem. I could shoot you fleeing. I could shoot you fleeing my property in Texas and not being illegal. Not to say that I would, but it depends on what you take. You know what I mean?
Right. But it gives you the power in that situation versus the person that is potentially doing something to you.
Right. And then they get to steal in a lot of these cases or destroy people's property or do whatever they want, and they get no consequence to their actions. Yep. I have a big time problem about that, because to me that property rights is that's the core. That's the of libertarianism, right? Private property rights, and for people to have their rights violated, and then to have another group of people that don't even have to see consequences. And I'm talking about the guys living on the blue check marks, living on the hill, protected with gated communities, and armed security. They get to see no basically consequence to a business being destroyed. You know what I mean? They see no consequence out of that because it's not theirs. So they're like, oh, well, they just have insurance. These idiots don't even know how insurance works. There's people out here, man, they still trying to get storms from last year. Still haven't gotten their claims from the storms that happened last year. These fools think that oh, well, they're just going to write you a fat check tomorrow.
That ain't going to fucking happen.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
You make a point, I talk about this time. I worked in retail, long before I had YouTube and website and everything like that. And when I started retail, this is back in like the late 90s, into like 2005, 2006 is when the heyday happened. And we used to deal with shoplifters, and people come in the store. We could fuck them up. We'd do anything to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there started to come a change where it was like, okay, you can't even confront them. Okay. You can't even confront them to the point where you can't even say a word to them. You can't do anything. And it got to the point where people had come in the store and fucking steal, and you couldn't even do anything. And it was like, all because of a lawsuit or some bullshit like that, and it became a point where we had to watch people walk in our store and openly steal, and we couldn't say anything. The only person that could do it is if we called the cops, and the cops got there in time, then the cops could detain them, but we couldn't. So we literally had to watch, and that was a small sample size as to, a lot of the bigger picture that we're starting to face today, where it's just like criminals are getting more rights than honest, hardworking, everyday people, and it's fucking bullshit. And the silent majority has got to start standing up and quit being quiet and quit being worried about calling an ister an ism, because at this point those words mean absolutely fucking nothing. They mean nothing. And again, this was something I struggled with when I saw the problems with Star Wars prior to me saying something, in early 2018 or late 2017. I saw them, but I was like, I don't want to say anything because, I don't want to be called a racist or a sexist or, nobody wants that to be branded to them. Right. But we're at a point now where those fucking words don't mean anything. True. What racist or sexist means now is I disagree with that person.
Yep.
That's all it fucking means. It's fucking meaningless. So don't let those words intimidate you from standing up for what you believe in and being honest about what's going on. These people are loud as fuck, and they are very loud on social media, and they don't feel like there's a lot of resistance out there for them. And then when one person or two persons or a few people speak up on social media, they get ratioed to fucking hell by these people, you know? So people just don't want to say anything. And I totally understand it, but people have got to start, as individuals, they got to start standing up against this shit, because if not, you're going to lose all of your rights before it's all said and done.
Absolutely.
And,
I mean, you put it perfectly, man. Like, that's what has to happen. Like, people have to actually start standing up and being vocal. This is why, I've been as vocal as I have. I'm like, dude, whatever. Put your nuts on the table. Like, what you gonna do to me? Like, ain't none of y'all gonna whoop my ass first and foremost. So, what, you gonna ratio me or send your goons? Whatever. Let's get to it. Like, whatever. Like, let's go there, because at the end of the day, they're wrong. They're wrong, and their positions are wrong. So they feel as if because they can get to yell in the echo chamber, and then they get to sort of socially have to get this like social pressure, right, to people that disagree with them. They get to do whatever the hell it is they want, say whatever it is they want. And I understand, like you said, some people fear that, you know what I mean? But the more people that are like, dude, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, you're gonna call me whatever you're gonna call me. Like, and don't think that just because you are white, like, dude, I'm black, they call me the same shit. So it's not like they give a damn about it. They just feel as if there are these terms that the populace has agreed are bad things, right? So they feel as if they can label you. If they can label you as that, it doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter. If they can label you as that, that's what they're going to run with. They're going to label you as a bad moniker. And it doesn't have to be true. And they're going to do it anyway. And this is why I grill libertarians all the time, because libertarians have this, my fellow libertarians have this bad, definitely the political ones, like Libertarian Party cats, bad like thing where they go kiss the ass of like people that hate them, right? And they feel as if like that's going to stop them from talking shit about you or something like that. It's like, no, they're still going to call you all those names. They threw a brick. Remember, I don't know if have you seen that video where is these white cats, like this group of like protesters are like walking past the house.
I had to pull this one up because I retweet. This was fucking fantastic.
Where
somebody said Black Lives Matter, Eric D. July. Oh yeah, what Corey said. Fuck off. And then this is some white liberal, and you retweeted Black Lives Matter, Eric. Also, fuck off, black guy.
Yeah, it's not Black Lives Matter, guys. It's black narrative. Certain narratives matter. Like, in the event that you deviate,
sorry to interrupt you, but that's just they fucking
hate you, man. Like, in the event that you that you deviate from that particular narrative, they hate you, man. I had to unfortunately call, I'm in the metalcore community, right? And I did this op-ed for Loudwire, and the only reason that op-ed got published was because I called them out. They were getting like this metalcore, and people that are in the chat that listen to metalcore hardcore community, pretty much every fucking band is signaling right now. We have to do something to fight injustice. We're gonna sell this merchandise, and in half or all of the proceeds are gonna go to this shitty organization that's been ineffective for the last fucking 50 years or something like that. And then they're like, they've been like all these metal publications, right? And all these metal publications, they go out there and they get the like, I don't know, narratives or perspective from like Avenged Sevenfold, right? Group full of fucking white guys. Okay, fine. I'm like, dude, I am a black frontman of a metal band, and y'all know exactly who I am. Like Loudwire, for example, has covered my music. They've covered our music. We had the top 5 single when our song Statism, featuring Craig Mabber from Escape to Fate. We had the top 5 single on their platform which is strictly voter based. We had the top 5 single for 5 weeks in a fucking row. 5 weeks in a row. They know exactly who we are. They've covered it. They had to retire us because we kept winning. They know exactly who we are. And I asked my followers the other day before that op-ed came out. I said, anybody want to bet or guess? Excuse me. Anybody want to guess the amount of metal publications that have asked me when they've done all the signaling that have asked me for my perspective? I said none of them. None of them. None of them have ever reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're a black guy in a metalcore band. What's your perspective on all of this?" Alternative Press, Loudwire. Before I did that op-ed, they reached out to me because I called them out. I quote tweeted them after the Event Sevenfold thing, and I was like, "Hey man, I'd love to give you my perspective, which is completely different from every other perspective of all these guys, but I'm the one black guy." They signaling the guys like me, and I'm telling them that they're full of shit. But because my politics are completely different from these guys, they don't want to hear that. They want to pretend that it doesn't exist. Yep, exactly. And that's what it's about. As far as like it's cultural echo chamber, and that's what they want. They want a cultural echo chamber, and they want to sit here and get the perspective from them and them only. Anybody else that deviates from that, including black people that deviate from it, they don't want to hear it. They will hate you. They will say you're the worst person of all time. A part of that op-ed, I talked about how there was this thread that they were showing like all of these black. It was a cool thread too. Like all these black guys in rock, like dating all the way back to like, I mean, way back, like way fucking back. All black people that have been a part of rock. They got to me, right? I was surprised they even included me on this list. So they got to me, Eric July, backwards. It wasn't until they got to me where you look at the comments, a motherfucker's like, "Oh, well, he's an ANCAP. He should be on here. Take him off." I'm like, ain't that some shit? You know what I mean? It's proven the fact that it's not about black lives or black voices. It's particularly about a certain narrative. And that's what they want to get out there. They don't give a shit about anything else. That's all horseshit when they're like, "Oh, we need to lift the perspective of black voices." Like, no, they don't give a fuck about black voices. They want black voices that agree with them. That's the only time that they want.
Yep. All right, so I've got a couple more questions for you, but I'm gonna I'm going to tell you. I want to ask you about the Dave Chappelle video that he dropped. I don't know if you watched it. Have you watched it yet?
I have not. You
haven't watched it? Okay, that's cool. And then I want to ask you about Candace Owens. I don't know what your opinion on her is, and some other things. So let me read a few super chats really quick. Thank you all for the support. Yes, back to live streaming. We got almost 1,300 people watching. We are here with YoungRippa59. Go subscribe to his channel. You're gonna get comic books and political talk. And he brings the heat no matter what he's talking about. So mods, if you can drop a link to his channel. All right, so Darth Vader says, "Good to see you guys through these tough times, and congrats on the website, man. You and your team have worked really hard for this."
Oh, that's good too, man. I saw it, man. Like, holy shit. Y'all are killing that. Let me just put that out there.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. The website, I'm scared to send everybody there right now because we have been crashing it because we had like 2,500 people hit it last night at one time. And it just, because we were live on Friday nights. But yeah, please, when you get time, and maybe a little bit later, but go check out geeksandgamers.com. We have revamped the entire website. We have profiles. We have forums. I'm not going to be silencing anybody over there. Now, again, if you're over there doxing people and threatening people, yes, there are extremes that have to be covered. But if you're just there to tell me that I'm a piece of shit, you can stay there all day long and tell me I'm a piece of shit. That's okay. But the most important thing we have on the website is a tier system, or not a tier system yet, but we do have a subscription premium membership that gives you exclusive live stream access and some other perks that we're going to create. And that's only $10 a month. That is huge. I did not crowdfund this website. I spent my own money, over $10,000 so far, and I'm hoping and praying it's not a mistake. But we've had over 1,000 people sign up to just the site itself, and it's been fantastic. So thank you, Rip. I appreciate that, man. So I'm really proud of my team and proud of what we've built, and we are going to keep building it. If you run into any issues at all, there's a report issue on the bottom that we implemented. Please fill that out. That goes right to my webmasters, and we will address it. So thank you. All right, Josh Leek says, "Remember when they said orcs were racist? It's funny how these rioters and looters are acting like orcs with all of the burning and pillaging. Orcs, yeah, it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense, and I don't know how anybody can be proud of this. I really don't. I mean, it's a disaster. Communities are being destroyed. People's businesses are being ruined. Their livelihood is being ruined. Whether they're black or white or whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. Hardworking people shouldn't have their fucking businesses ruined because some random black guy got killed by a police officer. Hold the people responsible that were in charge of what happened, not innocent, hardworking Americans. It's fucking insane. Perp Cloud says the left is trying to start a race war to distract from real issues. I mean, let me ask you this, Eric, and then I want to keep reading. But
Yep.
I think right now, in my opinion, and again, I'm just have one perspective. I think America is the least racist it's ever been right now, and the least sexist it's ever been. That's not to say it's not racist and sexist and it's not out there, but I think we've definitely moved a long way away from where we used to be.
Oh,
what is your take on
well,
that?
first of all, America's like one of, if not the most like culturally and ethnically diverse countries. You know what I mean? First and foremost. But no, I agree but that's the thing. It's like they have to create a boogeyman, right? They need that to exist. And this is why it will continue to be emphasized, because they need that to exist. It doesn't matter if it exists to the capacity that they claim that it does. They need that to be a thing. So they will conjure it up. They will make it up. They will make it seem like it's way more prominent, way more active, way more bearing, man, when it comes to actually impacting people's lives. They will perpetuate this nonsense, and it's nonsense. It's exactly what it is. It's not people on as racist as people like to act as if they are, but they need that boogeyman to exist. For one, it absolves a lot of people of their like responsibility. For whatever reason, people think that like responsibility and agency are bad things. God forbid you are in your situation because of something that you did. Mm-hmm. God forbid that be the case. But it's easy if you are in an unfortunate situation to blame someone else. And that's why something like racism or sexism or all these isms and phobias, that's why people say that they exist in places that they don't, because they feel as if, well, I can just say that. And it's like a get out of jail free card from any sort of agency or responsibility. I'm in this unfortunate situation because of interword or interterm, and that's why I'm in the situation. Therefore, reasons. It doesn't make sense, but again, it doesn't have to, because they're yelling in echo chambers.
Yep, you're exactly right. WD40 says, about time we got Rippa back on the channel, man. If I'm not mistaken, the last time you were here is when we got the Pixelated Ryan stream.
I think so. Yeah. I think that was the last time I was here, man.
And you had bad weather.
Yeah. That was something else, man. That was an experience, man. Like, he's now Ryan's immortalized. I love it.
Yeah, between you and Uche just laughing so hard. I mean, I had tears, man. I had tears during that.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic. So let me see. James Kim with a $10 super sticker with him saying thank you. And I will say thank you right back, James Kim. I appreciate that. Scottish Nerd, $1.49 sticker with a unicorn. Thank you. Appreciate that. DM Rippa, when will this stop? When will it stop? Baiting equals money.
Who knows when it'll stop, man? I mean, I
personally think it's gonna be escalated until November.
Yes, an election year too.
And then it will definitely die depending on what happens. I mean, do you think Trump's going to win?
I think he is. You know what I mean? But if he wins, I do think that there's going to be another reaction, maybe even similar to what we're seeing right now, because people can't control their damn emotions. So I think that he will, and then unfortunately there will be like this period of just unrest because their guy didn't win. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I do think he will end up winning. It definitely will. Time will tell, because we got to see like how with this whole stupid virus thing. It's not the virus. I don't even want to blame it on the virus. I'm gonna blame it on the fucking idiot politicians who forced everybody in the lockdown. Yep. Like those guys, it depends on how like the economy comes back, and if it even gets back to some form of capacity, I think he'll win it like easily, actually, if that happens. But if it's still sort of, and that's the unfortunate thing about politics. Politics is grimy, man. You can't put it past people that they actually want that to happen. So people will ruin people's livelihoods, like continue on this needless lockdown just for the sake of making him look bad. Like, you can't put that out of the realm of possibility, and that's unfortunate.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be crazy. And speaking of the virus, I mean, look, as much common sense as I believe I have, and I felt that this was all, a weaponized movement with the virus and the lockdown and all that bullshit. Like, even me, though, there were times privately where I'm just like, damn, man, maybe if we be careful. I mean, I don't wear a mask, I don't wear fucking
Right.
gloves, but I'm just saying, like, you go, you're like, man, I got a family. Am I making the right decision? Is this really bad? Is this, because of the scare tactics that they were putting out there, like they were painting such a bleak picture.
Like we were all good. It was like the plague, man.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. So yeah, man, it was insane. Nicholas Glenn, YoungRippa59, where did it go? It jumped on me. You ever read those Batman versus Predator comics?
I did. I'm guessing is that Echo Base Network? Is that who?
Yeah, that's Echo Base. Yeah,
I figured.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he sent them to me, and I actually did read them. I should do a video on that. It's just I haven't done a whole lot of comic book material because I've been balls deep in this politics shit because of all the craziness is going on for the last 2 months.
I need
3
to get
months
back.
Actually,
I need to get back on politics from my personal channel. I haven't uploaded a video on my personal channel in 2.5 months probably. And that's where I do my like straight politics.
Yeah.
If I'm talking things on the channel, like, regular uploads, I try to tie it into entertainment. I'm not just going to make a pro-Trump video here on Geeks and Gamers. That's just not, I don't think that's right. And that's not what I've preached about. So, but yeah, I do need to get back on that grind. By the way, my webmasters just told me, they're like, bad idea. Seeing everybody right now, we're working on something. So if the site is slow, again, we're working on it. But yeah, we've had over 1,200 people sign up, and then we're growing, man. And we've already added some new forums because you guys requested new forums, so we've already added some new forums too. And again, the site's yours. Again, just as long as it's something we can do. And it's a 2-man team that's running the site on the back end. That's it. And they have 2 full-time jobs, like during the day that they work. So they just do this as a side thing to help me and help Geeks and Gamers. So, but the more support we get, the better we can make this. And the app is the next step. We're working on an app. But
nice.
Dean approves, says, "Sup guys, SJW's SJW and question mark. Love you guys." Pretty much. They are more empowered than they've ever been now.
Yeah, true that.
Lorena Creole. Lorena just made an account on Geeks and Gamers, and I retweeted her. She says, "Hey, Eric and Jeremy, love seeing you guys together." Thank you, Lorena.
Thank you.
Lorena's awesome.
Yes,
Mexican Iron Man, my 2 favorite YouTubers of common sense, intelligence, and true leadership. To hell with CNN, CNBC. These 2 men are the best of discourse and these challenging times. Hail Jeremy, hail Rippa.
Wow,
Mexican Iron Man is badass. Mexican Iron Man is
big homie.
badass. Mark C. 20 major cities were looted, all liberal Democrat run. The entire state of Louisiana, with an open carry laws, had only peaceful protest. Not enough people in blue cities have guns to protect their own. 100%. 100%. Look, I've never been anti-gun by any stretch. What I'm saying is I've never been a pro-gun guy, never owned one, recently bought one. Absolutely. Because of fucking crazy shit going on.
You got to, man. Dude, you have to look, I know a lot of people are squeamish, and I know a lot of people just like you, right? Like they never were like anti-gun, but it just wasn't their thing.
Right.
And I was like, you seeing all this craziness happening. I'm like, yeah, man, like this is the time. If you were on the fence, it's good to have it. You know what I mean? At this point, because you never fucking know. People are fucking loony out there. But you're right. Like the commenter is completely correct in terms of where it's happening. That's also what makes this thing so weird, because when you think about Minneapolis, is one of the like most leftist sort of cities that exist. And even back there when we had this sort of kind of a similar reaction, but not nearly to this degree, back when the whole Freddie Gray thing popped off in Baltimore, same exact thing. And it's like these are cities that are ran by Democrats from top to bottom. Right, I'm talking city council, police chiefs are generally Democrats, mayors, top to bottom, and somehow they've gotten away. It's got to be some sort of wizardry, because they've gotten away with blaming the opposite party, like they blame Trump for like the atmosphere. And I'm like, Trump don't fucking control anything in Minneapolis. What the hell? Like he controls nothing. He controls nothing out there. So it sucks, dude, because it's like people can't see that. It's like, dude, where this crap is happening, where you look at all these instances that have impacted the country, even back in, damn fucking Rodney King, even dating back there where all of this craziness happens, it happens in these leftist cities. And it's like, this is where these elements of police brutality, but somehow they get to blame the opposite party. And it's and I feel sorry, unfortunately, for a lot of guys that live in like blue areas that aren't necessarily blue. Because you guys are seeing, like, I know people in California reached out, man, I went to go buy a gun and they got like I got a 10-day wait period out there. And I'm like, damn, that gotta suck. Like, imagine being that guy. Like, man, I now need to defend myself because things are crazy. People are looting their behinds off. Let me go get a gun. Oh, wait, I gotta wait 10 days to get it because of some nonsensical, arbitrary just law that exists. And I feel sorry for you. But yeah, this is why I think that, you know, an armed society is a polite society where people are strapped to the gills. You're not really seeing all of these places, all of that like looting and shit happening because
Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Chicago. Like
Yeah.
it's
like
horrible.
they have like the strictest gun laws in the country.
And that's the worst gun crime in the country. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, they're seeing that it doesn't work, right?
common sense is not fucking common. It's
Not
just
at all.
not. It's not fucking common. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah. I remember seeing pictures like when the riots first started in Minneapolis. I remember seeing people posting like pictures from their front porch with their gun. They're like, everything's happy here in MAGA country. You know?
Yeah, like that shit ain't going like it's not gonna really happen in definitely very red areas and very pro-gun like areas. You're not gonna see a lot of that crazy. If it does start to happen, then you're gonna see people getting shot. Because,
yes,
like that's gonna for sure. Like you can bet on that's gonna happen.
Well, I will say, like, I am a classic example of like we all have red pilling. It happens in stages. It can happen. Like, okay, I've always been who I am, but I got red pilled with The Last Jedi. It opened my eyes to a lot of the shit going on in Hollywood and Star Wars and Lucasfilm and all this stuff. This recent with the virus and now the protesting, I have been red pilled when it comes to guns. I've been red pilled. Again, I've never been anti-gun. I've just never been pro. I've never whatever. I'm good, but this has red pilled me. Like I am a very, very, very strong supporter of guns and, strapping yourself because this shit's been crazy, man. And it happened so quickly too. Like we went from just like one day everything's great, and then Rudy Gobert, like the Utah Jazz, he did that thing, and then
downhill fast, dog.
Fucking everything changed. I'm like, holy fuck, man! Like
it went downhill impressively fast. Like it went downhill like in a hurry, and then you had like this bandwagon lockdown thing going on, and everybody like state by state, people were just shutting the whole damn state down, shelter in place orders and all of this stuff. And then the back door. And this is what I want people to understand. Like people look, I think look, conservatives, they jumped on that bandwagon too. Unfortunately, I've been grilling Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, because he was part of granted, we started to reopen before a lot of other states did, but I'm still not letting them off the hook for doing that dumb shit. But you're seeing that when it comes to definitely mainstream leftists, the game is absolutely rigged, because they had been preaching for 2.5, near 3 months, that if you got in big groups, you were going to kill your grandmother or kill their grandmother. And then just like that, they went and got back on that. And you have even these crony health officials who have greenlit it, who have been lecturing us about, well, you can't do, they've like, oh, well, now everybody's protesting in groups with thousands of people. Now all of a sudden they can do that, even though they had just the day before were lecturing you about how catastrophic it was that you dared to go outside or eat outside or eat at a public restaurant or something like that because you were going to kill so many people. You're seeing that the game is absolutely rigged. The rules aren't for them. Like the rules are for everybody else, the people that just want to get on with their life. That's who those rules are for. They get to go back on them. Like they went back on them so fast. And to see, now you guys see when I say, I know a lot of people, because I was on this like very early, I was saying like this is bullshit because I had been like studying the data and stuff like that was coming out of some of the early countries that had to deal with it, like South Korea and so forth. I knew that it wasn't what they were claiming that it was. And it didn't make sense to have like a sweeping lockdown that impacted all age groups and age and health demographics when we know that this virus mainly hospitalizes and kills people that are, immunocompromised and elderly. Like that's just what the facts show. That's not my opinion. That's just what the literal facts show. And they show that.
Racist, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But you had so many people though that had been lecturing us about all of this nonsense. They went back on it so fast, and it's like it never happened. But more importantly, you see, when I was talking about how just because they're health officials, just because they're doctors, does not mean that they don't have political slants. Like, you're a fool to think that they don't. And now you're seeing it as these health officials have come out and said, well, it's okay for people to be protesting because that's more important. You're like, what the fuck? You had just been telling us that we couldn't do it. Why is it okay for everybody to be outside in these big massive
They're arresting
groups
people in like groups of fucking 7 grilling out in the fucking backyard. It's fucking nonsense.
They were crying about people that were you know, remember that Ozark when that pool party or whatever that happened? They were like, oh my God, they're gonna kill everybody and all of that. And God forbid the protesters. Remember the armed protesters? I forget where was it, West Virginia, just something I can't remember where, Michigan, wherever it was, and they were protesting these draconian lockdown orders, and everybody was like, oh, they're protesting this is all bad. They want to kill grandmas. They're protesting to kill people's grandmothers and all this stuff. And then just like a week later, they went back on all of that, and it's rules for thee. It's not for me. It's rules for everybody else. It's for the peasants. Yep. They get to break them, man. The game's rigged, man. It's fucking rigged.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. The Vigilant says, nice to see my man Rippa. And yo, Jeremy, how y'all doing? We're doing good. It's good to get back live streaming. You know, I know you guys are saying keep sharing it. And yes, please keep liking the video, sharing the stream. Obviously, streams get ghosted all the time. That's something Gary from Nerdrotic taught me. Once a stream kind of peaks, they start ghosting it in your subscription feeds. And it's just weird, man. It's weird how that happens. You know, I've seen sometimes where I'll be like, you know, you've had like 200 or 300 people watching you at a time. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And then like after I go from like 1,000 people, and then it's like 200 people, I was like, doesn't fucking make sense, man.
It doesn't make any sense. That like the more subs you have, the harder. Like I got more live stream viewers back when I had 50,000 subs than I do in like 230,000 subs. You know, it's crazy. Let's see. Catastrophe says, Jeremy, you are a lying dog-faced pony soldier. How many push-ups can you even do? I bet you couldn't even take out my boy Corn Pop. I saw you comment. You said, I'm trying to be funny, Jeremy. Read my super chat. I mean, I do about 50. I do about 50 at one time. So, look, I'm skinnier than people think. Like, people think I'm like kind of stocky. I'm not. I'm tall and skinny. I played basketball growing up. So see, I know black people. All right. So Digital Demonic Davros found you 3 days ago and signed up to the site. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate all the support you guys have given to geeksandgamers.com. It's been amazing. And we're going to keep building that site for all of you. Jane Theory with a $5 super sticker with a bravo clapping. Is that a cat? Thank you, Jane Theory. Catastrophe says Chaz equals fail equal Chaz Bono equals fail. Coincidence. What's going on with this whole Chaz thing?
We have some guys at the Blaze, my man. If you want to follow, his name is Elijah Schaefer. He's with the Blaze. We sent them out there. He's on the ground. He's actually there in Seattle. So if you want to see videos of what's going on, it's basically this group of fucking communists that went and declared themselves autonomous. And ain't that some shit? Communists that say property don't exist, the first thing they do is build fucking border walls. As soon as they got there. But it's a fucking disaster out there. But if you want to see videos, go follow Elijah Schaefer. He's with the Blaze. He has also a show called Slightly Offensive. But right now he's literally there. We sent him out there like at the end of the week. So he's there right now, uploading videos and so forth of all the craziness going on. So if you want to follow him on Twitter, go check it out.
Right on. Flow One Fiction says, I'm Latino and America is one of the least racist places on earth. I've lived across the globe and without a doubt, America is the least racist. I've experienced clear racism in Central America, Asia, and the Middle East. And that was a $20 super chat. Thank you. And again, for me, I understand, for me to say America is the least racist, country in the world means nothing to the people that need to hear it. Cause they're going to say, oh, you have white privilege. That shit's so fucking stupid. Like, I've talked about this before. Yes, growing up, and I know I was joking about the basketball joke, but yeah, I did play a ton of basketball growing up.
You could not play basketball and be around black people.
Exactly, and so I played basketball a lot. I've been physically removed from basketball courts because of the color of my skin. You know, that's just how it was, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, if I walk on the court and they just see a white boy, they're like, hey, you know what? White boy can't, you know, man, white boy can't play with us. Well, of course, you know, I would show like, yeah, dude, I can play. Give me the fucking ball, you know?
Yeah.
And once I would earn their respect, then it was all good. And that didn't hurt me as a human being. That didn't tarnish me. That didn't make me cry. Like, it made me stronger. It made me earn it. It made me go like, I got to work for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it made me a better player. And, you know, I've been jumped for having Jordans at school before. You know what I mean? And it's just bullshit. Like, it's shit that happens to everybody, you know? But, you know, so I've been through shit. Does that mean my shit's worse or better than no? On an individual level, what you go through impacts you, how it impacts you. And my experiences are no greater or less than yours or any other person's in this world. What you go through impacts you on a level of how you allow it to impact you. You know, I could have, you know, just ran away the moment that people didn't want me on the basketball court because of the color of my skin. I could have, but I was like, I want to fucking be here. I want to fucking play, you know? And it's kind of ballsy. I was like, because I could have got my ass beat, but they was like, damn, white boy can talk shit. Okay. Yeah. And so it's bullshit. You know, it's like, everybody goes through shit. Everybody goes through shit.
Absolutely.
And that's just life. But in terms of, you know, my perspective, I've seen racism in America at a young age. I saw it. I've seen people that I had interactions with when I was younger. I grew up in fucking Alabama. Of course I saw racism. Yeah. But that type of shit, like, that shit is so far removed from reality in where we are now. So I just believe that we've always been making strides from that perspective. But my thing is just the whole nonsensical, we have to end racism. That's like saying we have to end, like, anything. We have to end praying. You can't end praying. You can't end an act. You can't end an opinion.
Right.
It's the fucking stupidest thing ever. Jeremy, white man can't jump. Can jump. There you go. That's right. Let's see. Explain nation. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Biden 2020 thoughts.
Joe Biden, my man.
What did you think about that?
Man, that was crazy, man. That was ballsy.
Biden's just fucking, he's got dementia, man.
Yeah, he got something. I don't know exactly what it is, but he for sure has something. But yeah, man, like, it's that whole deal, we talked about it on the News and Why It Matters over at Blaze, like the next day after it happened, when, you know, but it's like, it was a slip up, obviously, but that's how a lot of white leftists view black people. You know what I mean? It's like they feel as if they inherit your support. Yep. And if you not, then you are not an authentic black person. And it's not just with, like, a lot of people think that it's you get called those, or it's assumed that you're a lesser than black person to have all these names, Uncle Tom, all what have you. A lot of people assume that is reserved for black conservatives, and it's not. Like, it's black non-leftists. I may not get called to it to the degree that a black conservative does, or as much, but I've had people call me that, white leftists, you know, black leftists, because I don't support, like, Democrats or leftists. You know what I mean? And that's how they view. So it was a slip up, but that's like sort of the ideology of a lot of white leftists.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, let's just be real. He was fucking around when he said it, and we know that. But they are the ones, the left, the Democrats. Those people are the ones that invented "you can't joke, you can't say these things." If any fucking body on the right would have said that shit, that they would have canceled them, dude. It would have been over. Like, he was on there with Charlemagne, you know, and I mean, I get it. I understand what Biden was trying to say, but this is Biden. I mean, he's sniffing the chick's hair, sniffing girls' hair. Like, Biden, you know, the whole. Have you heard the one about his hairy legs? That one? Have you heard that one?
Yeah, man. I heard that one. That guy's weird, man. He's creepy.
So bad. But yeah, so Biden's the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely.
Blue White Scorpio says defund super chats. Defund everything. Kazea Thornhill, I saw your session tweet, Rippa. We can't live with these crazy people. Or your section tweet, Rippa. We can't live with these crazy people. How would we split between the commies and the liberty-loving folk? I say half of Washington, so they are not landlocked.
Dude, I'm a secessionist. So, I mean, you threatening me with a good time if you're talking about breaking stuff up. But people have to understand why I'm like that. I understand that people, because of public schools, teach you that secession is so bad because they look at the Civil War and they look at that as like, well, that's an example of it happening. But on a serious note, like, it's not really at all. But on a serious note, we're seeing that there's an issue as the country grows culturally and like just in population. There's a severe issue with having a powerful federal government where people fight to obtain its power. There's a problem with that because you're having people that hate each other share a government, and that's an issue. And this is why I am for like I think that from a libertarian perspective is probably the most effective or potentially the most effective strategy towards working towards a freer society. And that is breaking shit up. You know what I mean? Like breaking shit up because like the fact that we share governments, Texas shares governments with California triggers me. You know what I mean? Like, because those guys, look, I know it's probably some California viewers in here, but some of y'all crazy. You know what I mean? And y'all not like us, and that's fine. We got a lot more in common with Alabama. You know what I mean? Than we got you guys. So what that split's going should be, I don't know. I can't really say. Should it just be 50 states or just 50 countries? Or should it be broken into four little countries? I don't know. I'm just saying that there's an issue with all of us sharing this government and ruling over everybody when you see how polar opposite we are from an ideological standpoint. And that's where a lot of tension gets created. Look and see how the Trump thing, he wins, people lose their fucking minds. Why? Because they don't want to be ruled over by a guy that they claim hates them or they hate. So I think that it has to get to a point to where these states are acting more independently. And I do think that is an actual thing that's going to get us towards a freer society in some capacity. So the commenter or super chatter is completely correct. And like, I think that breaking up in some capacity, what exactly that is, I don't know. But breaking up in some capacity, I think is going to be a thing. In all honesty, a lot. Definitely, if Trump wins, I think you're going to see that escalate, that talk escalate. I mean, California, they had it on the table for a little bit, you know, like breaking California up into three states. I think if Trump wins, that may be the silver lining of it. That leftists who have demonized guys like Texas and Florida and New Hampshire, who have been like, let's break the fuck away. They were like, well, you can't do that. I think at that point, you're going to see the opposites, the people on the other side say, well, maybe breaking up isn't such a bad idea because do we want to be ruled over by Trump? So, you know, maybe it happens.
That's true. That's a good point. Biggles Mets, hashtag cancel Jeremy, hashtag Eric matters. We love Biggles Mets. Biggles is awesome. So, because Biggles, if I'm not mistaken, found us through you, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
On a raid on Twitch when you raided us. So
yeah, like Biggles is awesome, man. He's one of my top supporters, and now he's becoming some of you guys' top supporter. He's amazing, man. He's an amazing supporter. Yes,
Biggles is great. Biggles has been an amazing supporter of us, and I thank you for that. You know, Eric, you sent him our way. So the Rock Biter, Chad's officially has segregated gardening system. Also, yeah, we don't play bullshit in Louisiana. We close schools on opening day for deer season.
I love it.
Jane Theory had a Louisiana tweet, Louisiana super chat too. I'm gonna get that in just a minute. Imandoto, 2 weeks ago, the media, politicians, medical experts told us gatherings of 10 were certain death. Now they're promoting protest of tens of thousands. Exactly. Shit is so stupid, man. Like,
it's bogus, man. It's rigged. The game's rigged, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's fucking rigged.
Who isn't seeing this shit for what it is? It's so fucking stupid. Magical Sapphire, love you both, dudes. Political correction nonsense is out of control. It absolutely is.
Absolutely.
Mark C, thank you for the super chat. The irony about police hatred. The most notorious lawman ever was a former slave. Bass Reeves had over 3,000 arrests. Both sides should look at him in awe. Yes. Look, I mean, so where are you at on the police hatred situation?
Look,
because I know you're not a police supporter per se. So where are you at on the police hatred?
The thing about the police hatred thing is that there's so many different angles that you have to talk about because they've set themselves up for failure, but also politicians and rulers and lawmakers and legislators have set them up for failure too. And having to, like, you have the numerous amounts of laws. And I always say, look, man, it's not a law small enough that if you get the wrong cop on the wrong day, that he might kill you over if you, in the event that you try to resist arrest. You know, Eric Gardner got choked out for selling untaxed cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like it ain't nothing that small. But the issue with when it comes to and like the defund the police, for example, that's what everybody's talking about. It's a fraud, right? It's a front really for money laundering. Let's call it what it is. And it shows how they don't really understand the issue here as far as what like because you know we have this sort of expansion of cop hatred more so, but it's not a means in which people are using that example and saying we should scale back on laws, or we should scale back on taxation, or we should scale back on these acts of aggression that police are authorized to be able to do. There's no even discussion about that. They're just like, they have no issues like passing these laws or what have you, definitely in regards to taxation, but they don't seem to connect the dots as far as who enforces those. It's the cops. The people you claim to hate are the cops. So it's misguided, and that's why I would never align with them, because yeah, I may talk about 365 days or why I might want the whole concept of security privatized, right? But they don't want that. You look at this whole defund the police. Let's start with Minneapolis. They basically wanted to defund the police, but to replace it with a woke police. And they wanted to they didn't want to stop taxing you for it. So it's not a legitimate defund. It's not like they wanted to take the funds away from the police officers and then have you keep your money and maybe come up with these more private militia groups. Believe it or not, America, in terms of how it was founded, it was a lot more self-governance than it was what you see now. Like what you see now was like nothing like they used to govern themselves. Not saying that there weren't people that were police officers that existed, but they governed themselves a lot more back then as in comparison to what they do now. But they're not talking about like marketizing security or protection or defense or anything like that. They want to reroute those funds to like quote unquote social workers. And one guy said like Planned Parenthood, like, oh, what you get guys gonna break into your house and murder you, you're gonna call Planned Parenthood. Like, how the fuck does that work? But they're saying that basically the police aren't equipped to do some of these things that they get called on to do. But it's not like they want to marketize the solutions. They want to reroute it's a shakedown. It's a shakedown money laundering scheme in which they are like, give me the loot. Let's reroute it to these other industries. People with worthless degrees, liberal arts degrees, and gender studies degrees and stupid shit, that they want to route the funds to those guys so they can feel like they're worth a goddamn. They want to do that, but they don't actually want to keep the money within the pockets of the people that they're stealing from. So it's a fraud, but it's a fraud because their whole like why they're against the cops is so misguided. So it's not even like we're equal. Like I see it from a perspective and they see it from a completely different perspective. As far as like, I'm like, okay, I'm against this because I look at this like territorial monopoly on use of force, violence, and ultimate decision making as an issue. They just look at it like, oh, well, cops are in the way, but we don't want, so we got to replace them with the woke police. That's what they're doing in Minneapolis. So it's like, it's misguided. A lot of it's misguided, and it's not even legitimate, and you shouldn't really take it into like, you shouldn't take it serious. Let's say that.
See, that's what I love about Rippa is he always like he's got so much detail to back up where his stances are, and that's something that lacks in so many people that want to just scream on fucking social media. Let me see. Jane Theory says Louisiana is politically mixed and armed to the teeth. We're also really laid back, and it's hot as hell, which helps. Well. Yeah, I heard that. Thank you, Jane. Appreciate that. Let's see. Catastrophe says, when are you going to grow a beard? Young Rippa has a sick beard game, and you look like a soy boy in comparison. I don't think I've never tried to actually grow a beard, but I don't think I can. I just like the peach fuzz. So everybody wants me to grow a beard, but the more people ask, the more the chances of it happening are slim to none. That's why I never drank alcohol. People kept telling me that.
Same here. It's the same reason I don't drink alcohol. It's like people like, I want to drink. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
Nope, never tried it, never will, because people kept asking me to do it, and I was like, clearly, I'm not missing out because you guys are just like obsessed with like telling me why I need to do it, and it's just like if it goes back to what was that show a few years ago that everybody's talking about, that cartoon. It was a cartoon that everybody was talking about. I can't fucking remember it now, but shit. Drawn a blank, but it was like with the scientist guy, the little skinny scientist guy.
Rick and Morty?
Yeah, Rick and Morty. Yeah. Like every fucking body. I couldn't fucking take a shit in the bathroom in a public restroom, and the guy next to me is like, "You seen Rick and Morty?" Like every fucking body. And I'm like, God damn it, leave me alone. Like it was just like Rick and Morty. Everybody I knew. I'm like, I don't want to watch it now. You guys just aggravated me at this point. So holy shit. I mean, I'm not even blowing it out of proportion. Everybody on my team, everybody in my family, even my kid was like, Dad, watch Rick and Morty? Shut up, kid. All right. Don McDouglas said, bring that man back to the show, please. Are you talking about Rippa? Rippa's always welcome here. Barclay Jameson. Shit, it jumped on me. Where the fuck did it go? Barclay Jameson. Let's see. Sarwalk, a.k.a. Nick, the female dog, can choke Nick on a bag of these.
He's talking about the Libertarian Party chair. That guy fucking hates me, man. I don't give a shit, though. Like, if he fucking like he's
now, who such a hate you?
His name is Nicholas Sarwark. I call him Nick the bitch. But he's the Libertarian Party chair. And he hates me. He hates me a lot. So that's what he's referred to. So yeah.
I love it. CH says Disney launches internal attractions, diversity, and values review team. Go to WDW Magic's forum to see the rumor posted by WW Pro. He has been right where WDW Pro is almost always on point. So Disney is launching an internal attractions, diversity, and values review team. Oh, I'm going to eat that one up. Holy fuck. You kidding me?
Jesus Christ.
Look, I will check that out. If you are, if anybody from my team is listening, just throw that in one of the chats so we can, I need to remember to check that out. WDW Pro is always on point though. Bear me too, Brett. Website looks good. Just signed up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Catastrophe. Where did I leave my keys? Looked all over. Catastrophe is just spamming me with super chats and it's fucking fantastic. Catastrophe again. Q4 Eric is Murray's hair gel as great as they say? Question for Eric: is Murray's hair gel as great as they say?
I don't use Murray's hair gel, so I have nappy hair. So I don't think hair gel is for guys like me that grow very curly hair.
Thank you, CH. Appreciate that. Thank you. I will check that out. Chris Rawlingson says, imagine deciding who gets nuked instead of CDs. Absolutely. Big Stay says, first time I got to support. Big fan of both of you guys. Keep telling the truth. Thank you. Appreciate that. Catastrophe again, grow a beard or we'll assume you love Naughty Dog. And then Jens Jurgensen, remove the protection in the law for police officers, says they are liable for their actions. Give them an insurance to cower them like doctors. Finally, make the education longer and better. There's definitely, look, I mean, as someone that I do act, you know, I'm a supporter of police officers. So, but as someone that is a supporter of them, it doesn't mean that I think that there's not problems and there's not things that can be addressed and there's corrections to be made. So I fully support, you know, that idea for for sure. Dude, anybody's living in a fucking utopia if they think something can't be corrected. You know,
Right.
what happened to George Floyd should never happen.
Yep.
That should never fucking happen. You know what? But the problem is so with Tony Timpa. Are you familiar with Tony Timpa?
Yeah, because wasn't he from Dallas?
It was in Dallas. Yeah, white guy in Dallas
right
that was killed by the police. Fucking killed by the police, and nobody talked about it. So, what happened to George Floyd, and what happened to all these other black guys, black people? Horrendous, and it should be fully investigated. And if the people did something wrong, they should be thrown away forever. I have no problem with that. You know, the police officer should be held accountable. But I have a problem when it is, you know, this focused outrage. If it's about police brutality, then Tony Timpa should have been mentioned.
Dude.
You know, Justine Damon should have been mentioned, but they don't get mentioned.
Dude, look, I don't know. I shared a tweet and I did a video on, there was this black chick, because everybody's filming like these sort of interactions that are happening. And there was some black chick that was like, what did she say? She said something along the lines like, cops are now brutalizing everybody so they can continue to brutalize black people. And I was like, you stupid.
I saw this. I was
like, you stupid. Like, you think that white folk just now started getting beat up by the police and killed? Like, it was like, dude, libertarians have been talking about Duncan Lemp.
Video
I did a video. I did a video about that. Yeah, so it's like, dude, I was like, dude, and I started listing like all of these instances that I've been talking about before, where white folk get killed by the police all the damn time. Like, it's not like anything that just happened. You just started paying attention because there's like this narrative now that because you had been trying to act as if it was only black people that it happened to. It's like that is statistically false. Like it is like verifiably false, because white people get killed, unarmed white people get killed by the police. Like, it happens.
Yep, it does. It does. And Second Street Marvel with a super chat says, not a supporter, not a hater, but you'll get me every time with Young Rip. A great stream, Jeremy. Thank you, Second Street
Marvel.
One
of my mods, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Second Street's cool. I like Second Street. I've always had a feeling he hated me, but he says it right there. Not a supporter, not a hater. So he's just indifferent, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. Trump, president of the world shampoo. Jeremy uses Picard head shine wax. Okay, so that's caught us up on super chats. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate that so much. We're going to get into some more questions for Rippa. Again, really quick plug, geeksandgamers.com. Please go over there, sign up to our website. And my team actually just got this updated, so I want to show it to you. So this is a premium access page, and you can get that right here. Go to premium and subscribe. But so you have the tentative schedule we have right now is Krista Nova. Darth Barbie is going to be playing Grand Theft Auto 5. If you know anything about Krista, you know watching her kill hookers and in Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be a sight to behold, because she's more into Animal Crossing than Grand Theft Auto. Drunk 3PO plays Dark Souls with Mark the Cyborg narrating. That is going to be fantastic. And we will be doing Mario Kart 8 streams. And I'm trying to have my team create a specific premium subscriber forum so that we can have discussions with you guys in there, so you guys can give us feedback. So those are the perks right now, but more perks will be added, $10 a month. So thank you guys. Okay, so I want to talk to you about someone I'm a big fan of, and that's Candace Owens. So I don't know what your stance on her is. I'm sure you've talked about her a lot. I've never heard it point blank. So what is your stance on her?
Well, believe it or not, yeah, she does have like the Prager show that she does is like on Blaze, right? But I don't actually talk about her a lot. Me and Candace are like, I know we have some crossover as far as some of our views, but politically, definitely economically, we are not the same. Funny enough, her and I get compared a lot, which is weird. Because
I don't think there's a comparison really.
Yeah, her and I aren't the same, you know what I mean, at all. Look, she doesn't trigger me to the oblivion like she does everybody else. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like she does, because she doesn't. Do I agree with a lot of the things she said? Of course not. I mean, but fuck, I can say that about any fucking body in this regards. I will say that she does push the buttons of, I feel, the right people in that regards, but I'm not like gonna sit here and be like I'm a fan of her, and I'm certainly not gonna be like I hate her. There's a whole slew of things that I definitely, with the cop stuff, there's a lot of stuff that I disagree with her on in that regards.
What do you make about her past and how people say she's, you know, opportunistic? Because I mean, I think anybody who gets the momentum she's got, I mean, she has done some things that are concerning in the past. I mean, but you can wake up from that stuff. You can, you know, red pill.
Yeah,
but,
I think when we say opportunistic, I think a lot of people feel as if that, I mean, they reserve that term for generally people, because I've been called that. They reserve that term for people who are in a position where people value their opinions and it gets out there. So they feel as if, you know, they'll call you grifter, they'll call you opportunistic, they'll call you all these different things, because a lot of people see you and value your position on generally every fucking thing. And so anything that Candace says about anything, it's like, well, here she goes, and everybody talks about it. All the blue check marks talks about it. They say they hate her and all of that stuff, not understanding that's exactly why people value her, because y'all sort of make that, y'all have created that culture. So she's the beast that you guys created in that regards. But when I think of opportunistic, I would think of someone that has a position specifically to, like, you know, they're not really like principled, right? As far as I know, you can maybe disagree with Candace all you want, but as far as on this particular subject, she's pretty much been saying this for a while. It's not new, right? So I can't really say that she's opportunistic. I could maybe disagree, and we can all disagree, but what she's saying is, and I would reserve that to someone who you feel, or someone that only takes the position because of the attention that it garners. Like, that means that, okay, I know that this is going to get me the attention, so that's the position that I have. That doesn't mean, and there's people like that. There's a lot of people that take positions to the contrary. A lot of people that take positions specifically because of it's not really what they believe in. Like, their opinion just sway with the fucking like ocean. There's a lot of people out there like that. Do I feel that she's one of them? I don't really think so. I think it's just opinions that a lot of people don't fucking like. And because she's in a position and where she has a lot of attention, like all the time, I think a lot of people are frustrated by even a lot of conservatives are frustrated at her by it. But like, you know, she doesn't, I don't hate her like everybody else hates her. But there's obviously it's more so, that's more of it is. It's like when I disagree with it, I'll voice it. If somebody asks me like, Candace said this, do you agree? No, I don't agree. Like, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? For me to disagree, you know, with somebody on anything. So I would say that same thing about her that I can say about generally everybody.
Right. That makes sense. All right. So this is actually something that I find interesting, and I've got a few more super chats. I will get to them, but Echo Base Network just sent a good one in. Thoughts on the amazing Lucas, because he kind of stepped in it this past week. I don't know if you saw
I know
that.
A lot of people have been asking me about
that. I
that.
don't know Lucas. Like, I've never talked to him, but I like his channel, you know.
In
but I've
passing,
never talked.
You know, we've chatted, and we were supposed to like we've been supposed to do a podcast for the last like fucking month. We just never had it done. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched like his recent videos, but yeah, a lot of people have been like, yeah, man, he kind of fell off the deep end. They don't agree with some of the things that he's saying. I don't know what exactly is going on.
Something to do with the cops. I haven't watched the full video, but he got ratio to hell.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen like some of the like ratios and like which I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know exactly why people are doing, or even if I know the opinion, which is why I would love to, if he whenever he's ready to reach out to me so we can do the podcast. He wanted me to do his podcast. He had said that like a month ago. We just never had any action on it. I would love to chat with him about whatever.
Same here.
Same
here. I'd love to have Lucas on. I mean, I don't know what is. Again,
I don't know what's going on. I just know that a lot of people have been asking me like, so man, how do you feel about this? What is he saying? I don't know. I don't really have an answer for it because I don't know what it is, but I do know that he's been saying something that has ruffled some feathers of his own base. So I don't know. I mean,
he hid the ratio. So he hid the likes and dislikes on one of those videos. And then there was another one where he had negative, and Lucas gets a ton of traction. So, I'd be interested to see, but I don't know the details overall, but just thoughts on Amazing Lucas. I'm a big fan of the Amazing Lucas. I like his channel. I've always liked it, and I'm not going to get upset over one opinion or whatever he does. You know, like that's something that I try to Never, like, I don't ever want to be in a position where one take gets you this, one take gets you that. I've listened to Lucas for a while, and he's had some takes that I don't necessarily agree with. Hell, Rippa's got takes I don't fucking agree with.
Exactly.
And same with me. Like that's life,
Yeah.
And then I know people are asking me about the Dave Chappelle. Like, okay, so Rippa hadn't seen it. I've seen it. I watched it yesterday. Dave Chappelle always has my attention when he talks. Whether I agree or disagree with what he says, the man is fascinating to listen to. And I respect this man. I respect Dave Chappelle immensely. I think he makes some really good points in the video. My issue with it is that, there's a segment of the argument that he leaves out, and that's because he is mentioning just the black people that have been, brutally murdered by police, which is awful. But it's if it's about police brutality, then if you're seriously wanting this, to be highlighted, there are other instances that are equally as bad that have happened to non-black people that you should be mentioning. And I feel that there's a concerted efforts to only mention black people.
Yeah, because they want to act like they're the only people that get killed by the cops, which is
right.
And I want to be clear, that's bullshit. Like,
yes.
That's bullshit. Like, that's not true. It's like, statistics show that. Now, just because people don't get riled up about it, that's a completely different thing. But to sit up here and perpetuate this idea as if they're the only ones that get popped, killed, beat up about it, it's just there's absolutely no facts that point to that, and it's verifiably false. So I just want to be very clear about that. And yeah, I know that there are people. I haven't watched the recent Dave Chappelle, but there are a lot of people that are perpetuating that idea that that's the case, and it's simply not. That's not the case.
Yeah, that's where it's at. So again, I'm almost certain he didn't. And if anybody can correct me in the chat, I haven't seen anybody correct me in the chat, but I'm pretty sure he only mentioned, and again, that's fine. These things need to be, these things need to be highlighted. But again, if you're really about police brutality, there's a lot of stories out there that could really show everyone that you're not coming to this from a singular narrative, and that's my issue with that. But Dave Chappelle is the man. I love Dave Chappelle and I respect him. And I just love his demeanor and his not giving a fuck attitude, man.
Yeah.
He's great. He's fucking great. So you should definitely check it out, Rippa.
Yeah, for sure. Check it out. Maybe even review it.
So Nina Infinity said he did only mention black people. Okay. Yeah. I was, just to get clarification on that, but, yeah, overall he's awesome. And I have no issues with him. I don't disagree with his video. I don't. So I guess it's wrong for me to say, cause I don't disagree with the video.
It's just a narrative that he's perpetuating, and he's leaving out something that's very important to the issue. I get it.
Right. Yeah. And I loved, like, I could feel it. He didn't talk about it long, but he talked about like the Grammys and how, he didn't go to the Grammys because of Kobe, Kobe dying and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you could feel it, you could feel it. And dude, that whole thing, I haven't talked to you about that, man. How did that impact you? The whole Kobe situation?
Oh, it sucked because, Kobe's immortalized, right? And I'm not even a Kobe fan. Like, he is immortalized as far as like to what he means to basketball. So when that happened, it's funny. I just woke up from a nap. My lady was like, Kobe die, you kind of wake up, you're like kind of groggy.
Like, what?
Yeah. And I'm like, I was like, what you talking about? And even now it feels like unreal, you know what I mean? Like that's something that
I still can't process it.
It's like it doesn't even like feel like it's like it happened. Like, it's like, what? Did that for real? Like, this man is, it sucks to be immortalized. First thing that I did, because my cousin's a big fan of Kobe, big fan of the Lakers. I had a shoebox with a bunch of old Sega Genesis games that I had stumbled across, and I went through with my my stream and so forth. And it wasn't mine. My older cousin, it was a rookie Kobe card. Lord knows how much that shit's worth now. But it was a rookie Kobe card, and I was like, that's not mine. I need to send. I was thinking about it. I was like, I need to send that to my cousin because I know he's fucking fucked about all of this whole deal. But yeah, man, he's an immortalized, like, it's not a whole lot of those guys that are just like immortalized. And there's been a lot of very good Hall of Fame basketball players, but he's immortalized mainly because he's probably the closest thing that we're ever gonna get to like Jordan. Like, as far as like being like him, like playing like him,
talking like him, carrying himself like
that. It's probably like that. You're not gonna get any closer to that. And it sucked though, man. I was asleep when that whole deal happened, and I was like, I remember waking up, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? When she had told me that, and it's still to this day, it feels like sort of unreal, man. That shit was crazy.
If you watch like Kobe's interviews, like after he retired, because he was handling retirement almost better than any professional athlete's ever handled it, winning Grammys and shit, or Oscar. Sorry, Oscar. And he did that, like he did interviews on ESPN, and you just like, Kobe's so well put together, and he's so stoic, and he's Kobe. He was my favorite basketball player, but it just when I as a father heard that, when his daughter was involved, it was just like, if Kobe was in a situation where he couldn't save his kid, holy shit, man, we're all on borrowed time. It can happen to any of us,
Oh yeah. It absolutely sort of gives you that perspective of like you realize your own mortality, because we think of guys that are immortalized, and when you think about that shit happened to him, that shit could happen to fucking anybody. So you gotta be mindful for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Catastrophe says, thank you for letting me troll, J-Dog. I'm in social media isolation living in the Democratic People's Republic of California. Thank you for saying the stuff I wish I could. I hear you, man, and I appreciate it, man. So, hey, if you're struggling, man, go to geeksandgamers.com and get on them forums, man. You ain't got to worry about nobody running you off over there. That's for sure. Asher Walker, has Jeremy been converted to libertarian yet? Too bad Joe Jorgensen isn't a strong candidate. Hey, you know what? Me and Rippa may have a discussion. I may go on his channel sometime and we talk about libertarians and we'll see. Cool. Let's see. But see, that's the beauty about somebody like Rippa. It's like me and him have been cool for a while, and at no point he's ever said, hey, Jeremy, can I introduce you to being a libertarian? Because it's just like, that's not how it works, people have to show the interest, and it just turns people off if you're trying to all like come up on them and everything. So Private Halo 117, some only have up to 2 months of training for police officers. Others have up to 6. Say it should be between 2 years. See you. Yeah. I mean, that's not, there definitely is issues, and I think training is definitely one of the issues that they need to address. That's for sure. Training and a longer training session and making it more difficult, and maybe knocking them down a peg. Look, at the end of the day, nobody's sitting here like, we all know cops, military people, they're all kind of arrogant. You know what I mean? They all are, because they can be for different reasons. So knocking them down a peg, making them feel a little more human, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. CH, go to Disney's YouTube channel. They just put out a new virtue signaling PSA today. It's stunning and brave. He didn't say brave, but Catastrophe says YouTube thank you for not helping me find my keys. Unsubbed. Gonna go download Raylo images, buy Solo on Blu-ray, and check my white privilege. I don't even, Catastrophe's on another level today, man. Holy shit.
He might be on some shit.
Rob Dollar, guest suggestion for G&G, Coach Red Pill. I would absolutely talk to Coach Red Pill. I'm not super familiar with Coach Red Pill, but look, I'll talk to anybody pretty much. I don't care what side of the political landscape they're on. It just tends to be people that are more so on the right, that would be more like, people on the left just wouldn't talk to me most. Robert Meyer Burnett did. Robert Meyer Burnett's fantastic. Did you hear about what happened to Robert Meyer Burnett a few weeks ago? Are you familiar with Robert Meyer Burnett?
Nah,
So Robert Meyer Burnett, he's in this geek world with us. He's a co-host on John Campia's YouTube channel, and he's been involved with Star Trek. He's been involved with a lot of stuff in Hollywood. He's got about 25,000 subs on YouTube. He's a good guy. He's just a straight up good dude. Hates Trump. Fucking hates Trump. Definitely, on the left side of the political argument. When he came to talk to me on this channel months and months ago, he got a shit ton of resistance from his crowd, because he's like, don't go talk to that toxic Jeremy, blah, 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 but he did it anyway, and we had a fantastic fucking discussion here on this channel. We didn't bring politics up at all. We talked about shit we love, movies, video games, growing up, and it was a good discussion. It was phenomenal. Echo Base Network is one of the people that made this happen, by the way. Okay. So I had him on the channel. He was great. This was months and months and months ago, and I've stayed friendly with him. So he's part of the Collider Schmodown. The Schmoes know. I don't know if you've heard of the Schmodown.
Yeah.
So when David Dorn, when that video came up with David Dorn, of him getting shot and the video was out there, Robert responded. Now, guys, can anybody send me a screenshot on Twitter of what he said, because I want to be accurate. So I'll see if I can find it real quick, but I want to be accurate because I want you to hear why he got canceled. You're gonna fucking lose it, dude. You're gonna fucking lose it when you hear this, because you're gonna be like, holy shit. So because I want you to hear the details. I'm sure there's screenshots of it somewhere. If anybody can send me that screenshot. Basically, he basically came out and said the people that are looting need to be shot. You know, you arm yourself and shoot these people if they're attacking your business, because he was upset that David Dorn got killed. You know what I mean?
That's facts.
Yes.
I mean, that's facts. I mean, shit, I would say much worse than that shit. But, you know, yeah. Like, that's facts. Hell yeah, that's exactly what you should do.
I'm trying to see if anybody can send me that right now. But anyway, so if anybody sends it to me, I'll have my inbox open if you can send it to me on D-Day Cobra. But so basically, he said, you know, this is ridiculous. The looter, if you see, arm yourself, and if you see looters, shoot to kill, basically, is essentially what he said. Shoot these people if they're attacking businesses. He was furious that David Dorn.
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, so he was like one of the managers or something of the Schmodown Network, and Christian Harloff, who runs that channel. So Christian publicly cancels him, publicly fires him, because a guy named Robert Butler III, a black dude who's part of the Schmodown, retweeted Robert Meyer Burnett's tweet, and he called on the entire Schmo community. He called on the Collider community. He called all of them, and he was just like, we cannot deal with this right-wing nonsense. And it's like, Robert Meyer Burnett is not fucking right-wing. Blue Eye Scorpio just sent it to me. Here we go right here. This is it. So this is the tweet that got him canceled. You want outrage? Watch this, motherfuckers. Honestly, fuck the looters. Here's the moment every gun owner really wants. You want to stop the unrest? Everyone should use deadly force. Shoot to kill.
That's facts.
Every business owner shoot to kill.
That's facts. Like, there's nothing. What he said is facts. Like, that's. Yeah. I've literally stated that. When I talk about this is the only way this de-escalates, when people understand that there's consequences to the action. The fact that that guy, this is my first time hearing about this. That's fucking crazy, man. That's insane.
Yeah. And I called out Christian on it. I called Christian a coward. You know, I was like, you know, this is someone who is scared of his fucking audience. I will never, ever, ever be scared of my
absolutely.
audience. I respect my audience, but I am not going to fear my audience telling me to fire. So, like I said, don't ever fucking send me screenshots of somebody on my team and say, hey, Jeremy, somebody said something mean on your team. Fuck that. I'm not firing anybody on my team because they have an opinion you didn't like.
Yeah.
Like he was passionate about it. He was fucking upset because a dude died. And it was on video, and he was basically saying, use your rights. Use your rights. Arm yourself.
Like, facts. Like, and there's nothing wrong. Like, when I say there's nothing wrong with what he said, there is nothing wrong. That's specifically why I think you should get armed, why everybody should get armed and do exactly that. Protect their livelihoods, protect their property with deadly force. This is why I've been advocating getting rid of all these laws, so people have the freedom to do that in just about every state. That's the only way that de-escalates and people understand this ain't a fucking free-for-all. So there's nothing wrong with what he said. The fact that people are butthurt about it, and they more so that they make that an exclusive right-wing talking point, like that there's someone say they should protect themselves with deadly force, is nuts to me. It is absolutely nuts. It's partially why we dropped the song that we dropped, because we know that there's weirdos like that get triggered at this idea that people protect themselves, because the fact that people are offended, that lets you know that they feel as if this is a free-for-all, because they act like they're not supposed to get any consequence. So dare you say, if you try to steal my shit, you might get aired out. Like, dare you say that, they get offended.
Here we go. So here's Christian. The Schmodown does not agree with the statements made earlier by Robert Meyer Burnett. We will be replacing him as MTS manager. We'll let you know who will step in his role. The world, even the virtual one, is especially hard right now. Let's be kind to one another.
Pussy, man. Like, come on, man.
Such bullshit. This is my response. Man. Fucking coward. I have people at G&G that passionately disagree with my political opinions, and I stand by and encourage their right to speak their minds. This only confirms everything we say about you. Weak.
Pussy,
fucking week.
Yeah.
So it
I
was
can't believe
just,
that shit. That's amazing, man. That's
you
fucking
should talk, dude. You should either go on his show or have him. I can hook y'all two up. But you love Rob. Robert's a great guy, dude. He
Yeah.
knows comic book history. He knows
Nice.
his shit, dude.
Yeah,
He knows his shit. So I would love to hook you up with Robert Meyer Burnett. He
For
is
sure.
awesome. You know, you guys would get along. He talked to Uche the other day on Comics Division's channel. No, because Uche was going to talk to him after this whole went down. And we couldn't. He was getting probably spammed all day when all that went down. But he's a great guy. Robert's a really good dude. So, all right. Catastrophe says at least Kobe died doing what he loved. Fun. Oh, damn, bro. I am not saying that. I am not saying that. That's a little too far. Speaking of Kobe, thoughts on The Last Dance, says Echo Base Network. Greatest fucking documentary I've ever seen. Have you seen The Last Dance?
I watched the episode. I haven't watched it in its entirety.
Yeah, I'm watching the entirety. Oh, dude, listen. As someone who looks at Jordan as a mythical figure already, he elevated even 10 times by this. And I mean, and you know, some Hollywood aspect to it. You know, it's good filmmaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking great. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. Somebody said the stream is ghosted. Had to go to your channel to find this. Yeah, I mean, it happens. You know, we peaked at about 1,300 and then I started seeing it drop, but it's fine. We're not going to be on here too much longer, but you know, and then that's caught up there. Now, what other? So, do you have any projects that you want to tell everybody about? Anything we got coming up?
Yeah, I have. So we got the band, and stupid dog is sitting in front of my light. I don't know what she does. But can you please get out in front of the light? The people can't see me, man. What you doing? Weirdo. Anyway, but yeah, so I have, obviously the band is finishing making up some you know, the music as far as the actual album, the actual album. So we're finishing up on that. I got some stuff that we got up our sleeve with Blaze. I do ultimately want to get on the other side of this so we can actually, you know, get back to like maybe some comic book talks and stuff like that. I want to do that. I have a lot of ideas that I want to work on, but I gotta, you know, it's just a matter of me getting on the other side of this. Politics just running my world right now because of all. It's just one thing back to back. After we deal with the virus, now we're dealing with this crazy shit. So it's like, hopefully we get on the other side of this, and I would like to get back to doing more like comic book stuff and all of that. But as far as like for sure what's on the horizon, we got the album and stuff, but it's hard to say when we're gonna put it out because we can't tour. That's not like what we can do because it's not conducive. So I think it's kind of suicide to drop a sophomore album without touring, and we'll see what happens. But that's one of the main projects that we're working on, that I'm working on.
Okay, good stuff, man. Well, it's been good having you on. We got Catastrophe again. Jeremy gets sponsored by Podiums. That is a product you can really stand by.
Jesus Christ. This guy's got jokes, man.
Oh man, no, but so moving forward, yeah, man. You know, I'm always happy to have you on. You know, and I messaged you. I mean, we were trying to do this a couple weeks ago, and it was just with everything going on. You know, it's been crazy. I know you were just like, bro, I'm on TV. I'm here.
I'm everywhere.
So when are you going to be like? Have you been on recently? Have you been on any like the big 3 networks like Fox or anything like that?
I haven't. I mean, be honest, I decline a lot of the Fox stuff. You know that I mean, I've been doing that for years. Last time I was there was when Tucker Carlson was still doing Fox and Friends. Oh wow, that was that was a while back. That was the last time I had been on Fox. Okay. I hadn't been on since then. I'd been declining stuff and whatnot.
Let me ask you, why do you decline? Because you being, are you worried that they might edit something or whatever?
Well, not really. It's more of a thing. I don't want to get pigeonholed, right?
I'd love to hear you drop.
Yeah, I want. It's not that I wouldn't want to do it. It's like I don't want the reason. If you look at that interview, for example, I did with Tucker Carlson, we didn't talk about race. We just talked specifically about like minimum wage. That was what we talked about. That was what the whole position was. I don't want to get pigeonholed into that group just only talking about like race, like, and
Mhm.
generally when they reached out to me, that's what it's been. It's like something going down racially, and I just don't really want to do that. Like, give me some other stuff that we can talk about, economics and stuff like that. Not to say that I won't talk about that.
Right.
I just don't want to sit up here and be pigeonholed in the talking about race, and that's it. Now, as far as the other ones, I've said this all the time. I don't appear on leftist stuff, CNN, MSNBC. I don't appear there not because I won't, it's because they don't invite me. I've never once been invited by these leftists, and it's not like they don't know who I am. I just never get invited. I've never ever been invited to their, like, to be like forums, debate, round table, none of that. I've never once been asked. So people are like, man, I would love to see you. There's like, you get them to reach out to me, we'll make them happen. It's not like I'm not appearing because I wouldn't. I'm not appearing because they don't want me there. They've never asked me to be there. And I think a lot of those guys love echo chambers anyway, and to have a black guy up there saying not what they want to say may be an issue.
I would give my left nut if you would talk to Don Lemon. I would love to see that shit, dude. Can we please make this happen? Everybody, just go ahead and tweet Don Lemon and tag Rippa and be like, talk to young Rippa if you really want some truth from a black dude.
I would love to do that. I would love to chat with him about all of the crazy. But yeah, like I've been since I've been doing political commentary, for a while, and never once of those types, even the smaller ones like the TYTs, the the Huffington Posts of the world, like I've never been invited to any of those to have my platform. To be talking on their platform about anything in any capacity. I've never been invited.
See, that speaks volumes, and that just kind of represents everything we always say. Like it's nothing but an echo chamber, and they don't want actual dialogue. They're not looking to learn. They're not looking to have a different perspective or whatever. Like I remember I invited somebody on the channel a while back. John Boyega responded to a tweet from this person. It was like this pro Last Jedi fan on Twitter, and I invited him on. I was like, "Come on, let's talk." I even told him in private. I'm like, "I'm not gonna bully you. I literally want to have a discussion with you. You love the Last Jedi. Come on the channel. Let's talk about it." So they announced to Twitter. They're like, "Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers says he wants me to come on the channel. Whole fucking following. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's toxic." It's just like, I'm literally giving my word here on private message. Like you can screenshot it. I'm giving you my word that I want to have a discussion, not trying to trap you. I'm just, and I get it. Like I get it with the size of the channel and everything that could be an intimidating thing, but I'm giving you my word. If I go back on my word after I've given you and it's just a trap, that only makes me look bad. You know what I mean? So, they don't want to have a discussion, so it's ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. It's been a great stream. Eric, I appreciate you being here. One more time, I want to plug the website so you guys can go over to geeksandgamers.com. Please sign up for the premium access to get exclusive content. But also, like I said, we got profiles. My profile picture is jacked up right now, but that's the profile. We got, a friends list, direct message system, notifications, and then the forums. And so we just added some new ones, as a matter of fact. So all these are new. And you see there's a lot of good discussions going on in these forums now. So hop on over there. Let us know what you want to see. And, we do appreciate the support. My team has been fantastic in getting this done. And where can I buy a hoodie that doesn't fit? On our store. Look, right here. So if you go to the store, okay? If you go to the store, if you go to the site, you click store and look at there. Find all kind of stuff. Look at there. All that merch. Geeks and Gamers, Park Hopping, Geeks and Gamers shirts, all types of stuff right there. You can buy as much as you want right there. So by the way, at some point I'm gonna get you to talk to Drunk 3PO. Have you ever talked to Drunk 3PO?
I feel like we may have been on something together. I don't know if we had ever been on anything.
Drunk's guy runs our Park Hopping channel. He's a good friend. He would love to talk to you.
Let's do it. Yeah, I've shouted him out a few times, man. He's popped in the stream sometime, and I've obviously seen his work. I've seen him, around. But yeah, no, let's make it happen. Let's make. I love to go on this channel, man. It'd be fun.
He's a good dude, man. So I'll make it happen. So all right, man. So Rippa, I appreciate you being here. Let me make sure I didn't. Is there any other super chats to catch? I think we're good. Thank you guys again for the support. It's nice to get back to live streaming. It's probably the first time in a month and a half. So you know, I know no onesies, Steph. I'm working on onesies, Geeks and Gamers onesies. I will make it happen. Okay. I will make it happen. But yeah, so Rippa, keep up the good work, man. And I'm sure we'll see you on the channel again very soon. You guys have a great day. See you over in the forums on geeksandgamers.com, and we will talk to you.